Hi everyone, welcome back to Workspace Wednesday. Today we are going to be moving a bit away from Tana, and we're going to be looking at habit tracking inside of Notion. I wanted to build two systems inside of Notion because I know that it is an application that more people have access to as opposed to Tana, and I would have already covered habit tracking inside of Tana in one of my other videos. So today we have two templates. I have two templates for you. They will be linked in the description. It will be one link to both of the templates. They are free, and I'm really curious to hear your feedback if you do end up using them. So this video, for the purposes of this video, it's going to be an overview of both of the habit trackers, and I'm also going to be going more in depth, at least, into how they are set up, how they are built, as well as how they work. Let's go right ahead into Seneca. So I'm just going to show you an overview of both of them first. This is Seneca, and as you can see, there are two databases. We have the habit tracker, where you will actually be entering your information. And then we have a progress board here. Let's take a quick look at Aurelius. Here we have a habit tracker, again, similar to the Seneca, but the habit overview is different because it is a database which has all of the weeks for 2023, and that's how you're going to be able to see information from your habits in Aurelius. All right, so let's go back to Seneca and dive a bit deeper into how this works. So for each of my templates, I like to have a view which shows all of the different properties for that database. So we'll be getting into what those are. But generally, how it works is each of the entries are actually automatically generated using Notion's recurring database templates. So if you go to it's where the templates are stored inside of Notion, you will see that I have this today page, and that is set to every day, and it recurs every day at 12 a.m. So that's how the entries are done inside of Seneca. You don't have to actually add anything. It's done on a daily basis, and it will add the date and everything as well. Let's begin first by looking at all of the different properties for Seneca. We have the title property, which just shows you the current day. We have a date property. We have a relational property that's going to link to the habits in the habit progress database, and that's essentially where all of your habits, this column is where all of your habits will be checked off, so to say, or will be inputted. We have a notes, a text property, which is for notes, and then we have three formula properties, and these formulae are essentially going to highlight which of these, it's going to look at the dates from here and determine if it's the current month, the current week, or the current quarter, all based on this date property. This is what the formula is. It's also linked in the resources aspect of the template. So this month, as you can see, this month is February, and it stops up to right here. It's not going to check off anything in January because it's not currently January. And the same for this week. This is the start of the week, so we only have one entry that was automatically generated, and that is for today, the 13th of February. And for the quarter, let me show you the week. So the formula is the same. It's just replacing this aspect for each one. So you will see this one is week, this one is a W for week, this one is an M for month, and for the quarter, we just have a Q, and that's going to be able to determine which of these dates fall into the current quarter, week, or month. And that's all the properties that this habit tracking database, the habit tracker database has. We have a few views. The Today view is optimized for mobile entry. So it's very easy to come into the Today view and go ahead and add in the habits that you would have done for the day, especially on mobile. You could also add in any notes that you might think relevant based on either the day. This could even be a journal as well. But I like to just track in the notes property any progress that I may have made with exercising or whichever habit it is that I'm keeping track of. So that's the Today view. It is simply filtered by date equals today. So date is today. This week, of course, it's going to show everything that is this week. So the filter is date, and it is this week as opposed to day, month, or year. And I'm really happy that Notion added in this month, because before you could only filter things based on, well, first it was only be able to filter based on today, then they added week, and then they added month and year. So now we don't have to use these actual formulae here to filter. We can do so just using the date property. So before, well, if you use Notion, if you're a long-time Notion user, you knew that you kind of had to use this formula to be able to check off this week. I am using these formulas still, but it's not for that purpose. It's so that we can generate the these different aspects for the habit progress bar. But I will explain that in a bit. So we have this week, we have this month, and we have a history, which is simply this is a list view. So it's a list view, and it is grouped by date and date by month. So this way, if for some reason I want to come in and check to see what I did, or what I did on a day in January, I can easily come in and see that. Now, the habit progress board is showing you your progress for the current cycle. So for each of your habits, in my case, exercise, stretching, writing, and my dental routine, it's going to show me the progress that I have for the current week, the current month, and the current quarter. Okay, it uses the this week, month, and this quarter formulae from the habit tracker to pull that information. So it's only going to show you the current it's only going to show you your habit progress for the current cycle, right? I prefer to view things on a quarterly basis, which I find is more manageable, and that is why I have this set up in such a way. Let's have a look at all of the properties for the habit progress board. So to begin using this, you first would want to come in and enter your habits. I've already done that, and I've set my weekly goal. So I know that I want to exercise 5 times for the week. I know that I want to stretch 7 times, dental routine every day 7 times, and I know I want to write at least 3 times for the week. So I've just simply typed those numbers into this column. And that's essentially all that you need to do. The other properties that you see here are all reflected just in a board view. It's the same information that's reflected in a board view in the progress board. So just to explain a bit about what's going on here, uh, every time you see this search icon, that's called a roll-up property, and this stands for week completed. So this is the amount of times I would have completed this habit, exercise, for the week. So I have week completed, weekly progress, and I essentially have the same thing for the month, and I have the same thing for the quarter. Now, this roll-up property is looking at the habit tracker relation. So I have the habit tracker relation, it's right here. So it's looking at this board up here. Let's go to this month. It's looking up here, and it's going to tell me every time I have checked off that habit, or every time I have entered in that habit for a particular date for that current week, right? So it's not showing me a sum total of everything for the year. It's only going to show me everything for that week, because it's using the this week formula from this database up here. So as you can see, for the current week, if I come across to the current week view, I only have stretch included here. That's why you see a 1 here, and that's why you don't see anything for the other habits. If I were to come in and let's say I put exercise here, you will see that it is now 1, and my progress is showing me 20%, because the progress is a formula that is simply looking at the proportion of the habits that have been completed based on the goal that is set for that week. And that's what it's showing you for each one. So for the week, it's going to show you your progress for the month as well. The monthly goal is actually a formula that just multiplies this weekly completed by 4. And the quarterly, the quarterly formula multiplies it by 12. So that is how it works in terms of showing you your progress. For the actual ring, if you go to the edit property, you will see here that I have the number format as percent, showing it as a ring, and I am only showing the number. I'm also showing the number. If I take this off, you'll just see the ring. All right, so I hope I explained these different properties well. It is very simple. It's just you can look at it as this being the weekly progress, and the progress is just a percentage showing this ratio of completed over the goal. And it's the same for the monthly. If you group this as monthly, this is just showing a percentage based on the proportion of that which was completed over the goal, and the same for the quarterly. The rest of the properties, well, as I said, we have the habit tracker relation, which is relating back to this database up here. And lastly, we have 3 text properties, which are just showing us the text on the progress board. So this week, this month, and this quarter. So that's this text that you see in the different colors here. This view, you can see your weekly progress. I have it in a table form. This way you can easily kind of see the number as well as the ring with the percentage. And I have the same for monthly, and I have the same for the quarterly view. And that is essentially it for Seneca. As I said, it does utilize the template, so let me go into that quickly. So if we go into the edit this template and edit again, we can see that the template has the at today, and it's looking at the date when duplicated. So it's not going to show me today from like yesterday, it's going to show me today as in today. if that makes sense. I can kind of show you an example. So if I just backspace that and I put at today, you can see that it says date when duplicated. The date automatically will match whatever date is here, or whatever the current date is as well. And I will link below how you can see how to do that if you don't already know. Ben from the Notion community would have done up a video, and that's how I learned how to do that. So that's essentially it. I do like this habit tracker simply because I like how it utilizes the relation property as opposed to the check boxes, and I like that I can see my current progress. So each week it will automatically turn over. Each month it will automatically turn over, and I do appreciate that. Alrighty, so moving along to Aurelius. This is similar to Seneca in that if we have a look at this week, we do have the title as the same at today's date. But instead of having the relation property for where we track our habits, we track habits using the check boxes for each habit, right? And this is going to reflect in our habit overview database, which purely consists of the weeks for 2023, right? So if for today, as you can see, I haven't checked anything off, I would have stretched this morning. So if we look at week 7, and if I tick off stretch, you will see that there's now a 1 in, and the ring is now showing 1 in terms of the progress, right? So the same for writing, the same for dental hygiene, etc. So you can see how they are linked, and they are linked because if we go across to the all view, we can see the weekly overview relational property, which is what is linking these two databases together, right? So technically, Aurelius is much simpler. I mean, it's much simpler than Seneca. The main drawback with this template is that it does require some manual changing of databases. Changing of the filter for this database. So let me show you what I mean. As opposed to Seneca, where you had automatically generated entries, there is no recurring database template. And that is because I'm not able to set in the template the current week because it is a separate database and there are these entries. If I were to go across here, come into my template, edit, and go to the weekly overview, I would have to select a certain week, and therefore every single automatically generated entry for the habit tracker is going to have that week. And I find it too tedious to come in here and change that on a weekly basis just to have it automatically repeat. So I have set up a filter where for the today view, so it's going to show me everything that is checked as today. And it is going to show me everything for today's date that has the week that I set it to, and I would have already set it to this week. So that is what I mean by the manual entry. I do have to come in here and change the week. So next week I'll have to close this off and type in week 8 and select week 8. But for now we are still in week 7. Right, so that is what you have to do on a weekly basis. And on a daily basis, you have to come in here and click new. So I would usually do this. If I were using this template, I would do it at the end of the day, before bed, or when I'm doing my daily shutdown routine. I would come in here, create a new. So I would select new. It's already going to have the title as the current date, and it's already going to have the current week applied. So all you have to do is essentially check off the habits, right? So that's the main difference with Seneca and Aurelius. Seneca, you have your entries being automatically generated, and all you have to do is come in and select the habits that you would have done for that day. However, with Aurelius, you do need to, on a daily basis, you will need to add a new entry to the habit tracker database, and you, on a weekly basis, you're going to need to change the week to the current week. If anyone has a workaround so that this is automatic, then that would be great, because it means that I can then change that in the database template and essentially make it recurring as well. But for now, this is how it works. There is a view to show this week, and this is filtered by this week based on the dates, just like in Seneca, and the same for this month. So we can see everything that I would have checked off so far for February is here. The habit overview. So as I said, it's showing your weekly progress. I have grouped it. If we go across to all of the properties, I did already put in Q1 through to Q4 for each of the weeks for 2023. And of course, I also have the daily habits that this is a relation property linked back to the habit tracker. I should actually rename this habit tracker so that nobody gets confused. Great. And that is pretty much it for Aurelius. I love that you can customize the color of these rings. That's my favorite part. And I do like seeing my progress over the course of a quarter. So definitely this Aurelius, you can see things over time, whereas Seneca, you do get to see the progress over the quarter, but again, it's only showing you the current week and the current month, unless you go back to the history. So that is essentially it. You can see the other quarters here. Of course, everything will have 0 because we are still in Q1. And that is essentially how these two systems work inside of Notion. So please let me know if you try them out, if you try out the templates. As I said, the link will be down below. And that's it for today.